Hi scholars! Today we are on our next week of making sure that we can write our opinion in a powerful way in a complete and organized paragraph. I'm so excited for this week's topic. It is, what kind of superpower would you have, flight or invisibility? And I would like to share with you what I want. So at the top of my rough draft, of course, I'm going to make sure that I have some kind of title. So I am going to say flight or invisibility? Question mark. All right. And then at the beginning, of course, I remember to indent, as I'm sure all of you do, just a big 2-finger spaces. And then we're going to skip lines so that it makes it really easy when we go to edit and fix our mistakes. All right, in my introduction, I know a good writer is going to give their opinion. So just share your choice. Would you choose it, flight or invisibility? I would prefer to have the superpower of flying rather than being invisible. So prefer is a really good one to use when you're looking to choose between two different choices. So that's my transition word. I would prefer. One reason that I believe flying would be more fun is that I could go anywhere I want. Okay, so that's my first reason. I'm going to circle something in here. I'm talking about going anywhere. So in my example, I need to make it match. I need to talk about somewhere that I'd want to go. That way, I'm really giving them a real example of a place that I could fly to. For instance, I could fly to Arizona. This is how I know that my reason here is connected to my example, because they both talk about how I'd go to a place that I want to go. I just give the real place in my example. I could fly to Arizona to visit my family, or just fly out of my house to avoid being stuck inside for this quarantine. So another place I'd go was just out of my house. All of that is connected back to my reason. That's a great example. Nice job, Mrs. Charrington. Then I'm going to keep going. That was my first reason and my first example. Now I'm on to reason 2. So I have to make reason 2 and example 2 match each other. This is one of the things I've noticed needs a little bit of work in some of your writing, so that's why I'm focusing on it right now. So pay close attention. Additionally, I can be a more useful hero if I fly. Okay, so I'm arguing that I can be useful. So that means like I can help people do something cool that actually matters. So let's see. I better give an actual example of something that I could use my flight for. In fact, I could easily fly by and grab someone's stolen purse from a criminal. So that's how I would use it as a hero, to try and help somebody. I could grab a stolen purse from a criminal. So those are connected. That's useful, and that's a heroic thing that I could do with my powers. Okay, so now I know my reason and my second example are super connected. Lastly, I think being invisible is a little too sneaky and creepy for me. So I better explain a little bit more about why I think it's sneaky and creepy when I give my example. In other words, I like that transition word. It's like, I'm going to say this in a different way for you now. In other words, it would make me so uncomfortable to hide from people because I'm an honest person. So the reason I think it's sneaky and creepy, I explained a little bit more, is that it's just uncomfortable to hide. I don't like it. It feels like dishonest. It feels like I'm not being the honest person that I want to be. Good job. That reason is super connected to my example that I gave. Awesome. Okay, now that I know that I gave 3 reasons and 3 examples, I'm ready for my conclusion. It just happens to be on the back page back here. Let's see. Okay. In conclusion, I better give a conclusion statement with a transition word. I'd much rather be soaring in the sky than being invisible and sneaky. I just said my opinion again in a different way than I did at the beginning. That way they remember, hey, this is my stance. This is what I believe should be the right choice between flying and invisibility. Don't you think flying is a much more fun and useful power to have? that's where I'm asking them a question and I'm really trying to call them to action. I'm trying to get the person who's reading this to think about my opinion and to really think about how I am correct, how they should also believe what I believe. It's like a trying to persuade or trying to convince or just helping them see my thinking. Okay, so it's important that you give that call to action at the end as part of your conclusion. Your conclusion is usually about 2 sentences long. That's another thing that I saw in some of your writing you could improve on this week. But you are doing an absolutely great job. Keep it up, scholars. Can't wait to see your rough drafts.